The night of February 7th to 8th was marked by a massive aerial offensive by Russian forces, with 139 drones launched over several strategic Ukrainian regions, including Kharkiv, Dnipropetrovsk, Zaporizhzhia, and Kyiv. Ukrainian air defense forces successfully shot down 67 drones, while 71 others disappeared from radar. Ukrainian military authorities are currently investigating whether these missing drones crashed or were recovered by the enemy. The Russian drones primarily targeted critical infrastructure, but damage was relatively limited due to enhanced air defense systems. In the Sumy Oblast, guided missile strikes hit the border region, destroying 2 industrial complexes and several residential buildings. Initial reports indicate 5 severe injuries and significant material damage. Ukrainian forces responded with a targeted attack on a Russian ammunition depot, triggering a series of major explosions. In the Kursk Oblast, Ukrainian forces intensified their counteroffensive, advancing 2.5 kilometers into Russian territory. Although this progress is limited, it aims to disrupt Russian logistics lines and slow their resupply efforts. Russian troops, supported by North Korean soldiers, tried to contain the advance, but significant casualties were reported on both sides. A senior Ukrainian official stated that the goal is to maintain constant pressure to force Russia to redirect resources away from the Donbass. Meanwhile, in the Donetsk Oblast, clashes around Toretsk remain intense. Ukrainian forces conducted several nighttime raids targeting Russian supply convoys heading toward Kostiantynivka. According to local sources, the Russians are seeking to secure the region to open a corridor toward Kramatorsk. However, Ukrainian forces claim to have repelled at least 36 offensives in the past 24 hours. The first Ukrainian units equipped with domestically produced kamikaze drones have been deployed in the south of the country, mainly in Kherson and Zaporizhzhia. These drones, designed for rapid strike and reconnaissance missions, could play a crucial role in upcoming counteroffensives. Additionally, new air defense systems recently supplied by Western allies are being deployed in strategic areas. Their effectiveness could be key to countering repeated waves of Russian drones and missiles. The Ukrainian military has also announced the acquisition of advanced radar detection systems, capable of locating missile launches from Russian bases near the border. These radars are expected to provide Ukraine with greater anticipation and response capabilities. Relations between the United States and Ukraine continue to evolve rapidly, with a meeting between Donald Trump and Volodymyr Zelensky in preparation. The discussions are expected to focus on U.S. military aid and strategic investments in Ukrainian natural resources. Zelensky has proposed a strategic agreement allowing American companies access to Ukrainian rare earth elements, lithium, and titanium in exchange for enhanced security guarantees and continued military support. This proposal has received mixed reactions in Europe, where some countries fear excessive American control over European resources. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz sharply criticized U.S. demands, calling them mercantile and contrary to the spirit of solidarity. For his part, Zelensky expressed optimism, stating that this partnership could strengthen Ukraine's energy and economic independence. Meanwhile, the Baltic countries are celebrating their complete disconnection from the Russian power grid, a historic milestone marking their full integration into the European energy system. Ursula von der Leyen, present in Vilnius, hailed this event as a victory against Moscow's geopolitical pressure. The Ukrainian government has confirmed a €17 billion budget for 2025, dedicated to the production and acquisition of armaments. Ukrainian Prime Minister Denis Shmyhal announced that production contracts signed with local companies will now extend over 3 to 5 years, ensuring greater supply chain stability. Priorities include the development of new combat drones, the production of guided munitions, and the strengthening of air defense systems. Additionally, Ukraine is currently exploring partnerships with South Korean companies to modernize its tanks and armored vehicles. Discussions also include the possibility of transferring critical technologies to Ukrainian firms to boost local production. On the judicial front, Ukraine is intensifying its efforts to advance the creation of a special tribunal to prosecute Russia's acts of aggression. A Ukrainian delegation is currently visiting Brussels to discuss the legal foundations of this tribunal with representatives from the European Union and the Council of Europe. The Ukrainian government has also expressed concern over recent U.S. sanctions against the International Criminal Court, fearing they could delay investigations into Russian war crimes. However, Kyiv continues to collaborate with several NGOs and international institutions to document human rights violations and attacks on civilians. February 8th is marked by intensified fighting, strategic advances in defense and diplomacy, and increased efforts to ensure international justice. With ongoing negotiations and unprecedented military investments, Ukraine seeks to shift the conflict's momentum while securing its economic and energy autonomy.